Hey Libras, welcome to your reading where we'll explore how you can best call in a healthy romantic relationship into your life. We're going to start first by pulling a couple of oracle cards just to see what energy is surrounding you guys for this reading. What's surrounding my Libras for their love reading? And we have deception. Someone is wearing a false mask in this relationship. And let's pull another and see what other energies are surrounding this reading for my Libras. When it comes to calling in healthy relationships, we have White Tara, sensitivity. You are becoming increasingly sensitive. Avoid harsh relationships, environments, situations, and chemicals. Okay, Libras, as per usual, y'all are off to an interesting start. So, what it feels like when it comes to your romantic relationships that you, what's a nice way to put this, have been in situations where you have willfully blinded yourself to what people are truly showing you. It's almost as if in the interest of sort of keeping the peace, as a lot of Libras do, you overlooked, like, I'm not even going to say warning signs. Like, these were red flags with sirens going off. It's like fireworks. It's like, bruh, wrong path, wrong path, wrong path. And you're like, no, this is okay. I think this is fine. And so I think that throughout those experiences, Libras, that you have started to develop trust in yourself, that when someone shows you who they are, you're like, oh, okay, bet. That's cool. Well, you can go be that over there. And so I think that these lessons have come at great personal cost in terms of emotions, your physical state, your mental state. But, you've given a lot of grace and latitude to, I think, a lot of people who did not deserve it. And as a result, it feels like your compass for understanding what a healthy relationship looks like and feels like was thrown off balance for a while. But I also feel like you're starting to recalibrate because there's something deep inside of you that says, this doesn't feel right, And even if you look at other people on the surface, it's like, I don't think that this is a thing for them. Right? And so I feel like you're starting to come to that place where you are becoming much more aware, that you are becoming much more sensitive to the actions and the energies of the people in your life. And you're at that place where you are using your discernment to make a decision on whether or not these people should be around you. So let's dig into some tarot and see what other messages we have from Spirit. Starting out with something that you might want to consider working on as you contemplate getting into another relationship or calling in something much healthier than you've been accustomed to. And Libra, we are starting out with Judgment. Absolutely appropriate to start this reading off for you because Judgment is really about making decisions. Right? It's about making determinations, using your discernment to come up with the solution or the answer that's absolutely best for you and not wavering from that. Because I think for a lot of my Libras out there have been situations where you kind of made a decision and then maybe the person came back and sweet talked you a little bit and it's like, well, okay, I don't want to like jump to any conclusions, but maybe we'll give this another try and see what happens. And it's like, Libra, your first intuition should have been your strongest and best one and your final one. Okay? You need to start trusting yourself a little bit. And we have that clarified by the Hierophant in reverse. So the Hierophant is really about structure. It's about foundation. It's about institution. It's about doing things, quote, the right way. And so again, in order to preserve the peace, I think that a lot of my Libras out there are willing to accept things because they are viewed as the norm. They're sort of expected, at least from the outside looking in. But when you're in the thick of things, it's like, okay, even if this looks good on the surface, this doesn't feel right. This isn't right for me. So something that I think my Libras may consider working on is about outward appearances and what looks right but doesn't feel right. So feel free to buck the trend, Libras. Just because something glitters on the outside does not mean that it's gold. It, could be some spray paint or some bullshit like that. But it's not something that you have to deal with. Now, when it comes to your perspective on love, Libras, you've been through some things and I get it. We have the 9 of Swords. This is about anxiety, worry, depression, sleepless nights. It's like sometimes the thought of relationships, especially when you think back on your past relationships, it's like, oh my God, I lost sleep, I gained or lost weight, depending on where you stand. I myself an emotional eater, so my Uber Eats bill was through the roof. So, it's all of those sort of traumatic things that keep you from truly being able to enjoy. And I think that to a certain extent, you've carried that energy when it comes to how you view relationships. And so the thought of entering a new one is like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to end well. And you haven't even met the person yet. We have that clarified by the King of Coins in reverse. Now, the King of Coins, when it's upright, is a very generous, very stable, very giving energy. And I think that through your experiences, Libra, you've gotten accustomed to not getting anything. Whether it's material or otherwise, you have always been the one who's come up in the relationship empty. It's like you didn't even get a t-shirt for all the bullshit that you went through. And meanwhile, the other person is sort of bopping off into the sunset with their riches and you're left poverty stricken. And it's like, you've been, I think, conditioned a little bit to expect that that's what relationships are, just, based on your experience. And it's interesting because it's not something that I think you extrapolate to other people. It feels like you look at other folks and it's like, that seems really nice. But for whatever reason, I can't have that. That's not what I've gotten. That's not been my experience. So you only sort of apply these harsh realities to yourself. Good news is you can fix it. You can fix it. We have Death and the 4 of Wands. So Death is not a negative card by any stretch of the imagination. It is all about transformation and you changing your circumstances, your worldview, your perspective of love. We also have the 4 of Wands. This is the gateway card, the 1111. It's about foundations, especially when it comes to relationships. So I think that in order for you to get out of this energy where you sort of believe that relationships that come your way are all doom and gloom and it's negativity and you're going to come up on the losing side of things, it's going to require a shift in mindset where it's like, you know what? I am just as deserving of a wonderful, healthy relationship as the next person. And I will not settle for anything less than a stable foundation. You are going to start trusting yourself. You are becoming sensitive to the warning signs where in the past you may have ignored a foghorn that was blaring in both of your ears that this was not the right path for you to be on, that the person in front of you was not being authentic. You are going to now sort of transform yourself into a place where it's like, I know what I want. I know what I deserve. And what I deserve is a solid foundation. It's somebody who is dependable. It's someone who's honest. It's someone who's reliable. And if they can't show me that, if I can't feel that, then guess what? I'm out. I'm gone. Deuces. Bye. So change can happen, but it's entirely up to you whether or not you are willing to do that. Now, as far as accepting love into your life, this healthy love, We have the Ace of Coins. This is about new beginnings. It's about fresh starts. It's about stability. It's about abundance. And so accepting new love for you, Libra, is going to be you wiping the slate clean. These experiences that you've had in the past, they were learning lessons. It was not meant for, to be baggage that you carry in perpetuity. It's like, you know what? This happened. That was so fucked up. Lesson learned. I know not to make that mistake the next time. So your being open and accepting to love is you wiping the slate clean. This is you having a new beginning with a much more stable foundation than what you were giving yourself previously. We have that clarified by the sun. So Libra, find your happy place. And I feel like this was a trend throughout the air signs, that there is a need for you to make sure that you are solid yourself before you start embarking on that journey. And I know that that's something that people say a lot of times. And then the argument is like, well, I know some really fucked up people who seem to be in good relationships. That's them. Maybe there are some people out there who thrive in dysfunction. Libra, you are not one of those people. So making sure that you yourself first are functional will give you a greater ability to screen shit that is not functional, right? So being whole in yourself, being happy in yourself is going to be the best way that you can accept this new love. Now, why are you worthy of this healthy relationship? We have the Ace of Wands. You are a firecracker. And I think that deep down, you are ready for excitement. You're ready for romance. Like, you want one of those like Lifetime movies without the little situation that happens in the last 15 minutes where there's a big misunderstanding and then everything gets wrapped up like 2 minutes before the movie ends. I think that you just want that excitement. You want those butterflies. Like, you are ready for all of that to happen. I feel like deep down, the romantic part of you wants to be swept off of your feet, and you have the Two of Coins in reverse to clarify. I think you're at the point where you're certain of what it is that you want. Like, in terms of building yourself up and finding your bliss in life, I think that your single life is fine. Or if you're in the process of working on all of that, then your single life will be fine. But I think that ultimately you're worthy of this because this is what you want. There's no juggling. There's no on the fence. There's no imbalance to be found. It's like you're perfectly stable. You're perfectly happy. You're perfectly healthy. And this is a very conscious decision for you that, you know what? I want love. I want romance. I want a dozen roses and I want candlelight. I want all of that. So, you're worthy because this is what you want. This is what's in your head. So this is what you can have. I don't know if you saw how this card just sort of flipped out on my wrist, but we are going to take that. So in terms of the someone that you're going to find and how you're going to find them, we're starting out with the Temperance card. Temperance is about balance. It's about patience. There is a very calm energy that's around this for you. And so I think that this will come in a time of peace. And the person that comes towards you is going to, in true complementary Libra nature, is going to be very balanced. And I think that they're going to be patient with you as you sort of finish working through whatever challenges you've experienced before. I do feel like, though, when this person comes in, you're going to be more healed than not. So if you are sort of fresh in your processing and healing process, then, like you're at 15%, healed and like 85%, I'm still stuck on this bullshit that's happened in the past. Probably not the right time for you. But if you're like 75, 80, 95% there, this person's going to come in. As soon as you start opening up, as soon as you start trusting yourself, as soon as you start experiencing the joy in life, that's when they'll come. when you find your balance. And we have that clarified by the Two of Wands in reverse. So when this person comes in, because the Two of Wands is really about an inflection point in our lives, it's about making choices where, we can either stay where we are or we sort of get out and explore the world. This person has already made their choice, right? That they don't want to explore and they don't want to stay stuck. They want to move forward with intention. They want to move forward with their person. They want to move forward with you. So there's no decision that needs to be made, whether or not they sort of stay in their single life or they're out there, in these streets. They want to be with you, Libra. That's the decision that they've arrived at. But that will come after you've done your own work. So another message from Spirit that we have for you. Listen with your heart. You are listening, but need to hear with a loving heart. And so I think that this focuses on your discernment, right? In understanding how you sort of willfully turned a blind eye to other people. I almost feel like this card is saying that listening with your heart and in hearing things with a loving heart is more related to self-love than anything else. So where you gave the benefit of the doubt and where you listened with a loving heart, that love was directed to the other person and thinking that you could love them into doing the right thing or being the person that you wanted or needed them to be. But with this card, I feel as though Spirit is saying, listen with a loving heart turned towards yourself, because that self-love is going to allow you to have this sensitivity, to have this level of discernment, to know whether or not someone or a situation is right for you. So above anything else, Libra, love yourself first. That's what's going to draw in this healthy love. That's what's going to keep you protected. So that's what I got for you guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.